A Harbor Freight employee just told me something that changes everything about their Black Friday strategy this year. They're not just competing with other tool stores anymore, they're going after the premium brands directly. And frankly, what I discovered about their pricing formula is almost unfair to competitors. When Black Friday hits Harbor Freight, most folks rush for the flashy power tools. But here's what the smart money knows. Icon ratchets are getting slashed by 40%, and that's rarer than finding your reading glasses on the first try. These aren't your grandson's cheap spinner tools. Icon ratchets have that buttery smooth action that makes you forget you're actually working. The lifetime warranty, well, that's like having insurance that actually pays out when you need it. Now here's the catch, and there's always a catch, isn't there? This deal only covers individual ratchets, not the fancy sets. Think of it like going to a buffet but only being allowed one plate. Still worth it though. Half-inch drive Icon ratchet normally runs $25. During Black Friday, $15. That's the kind of math that makes your wallet happy and your project smoother. Harbor Freight rarely discounts their Icon line this deep. It's like seeing your neighbor actually return a borrowed tool. Shocking but wonderful. But ratchets are just the beginning of this Black Friday bonanza. These Daytona jacks aren't your grandfather's flimsy car jack that wobbles like a drunk penguin. We're talking about 30% off some seriously heavy-duty lifting power here. Now here's what makes this deal special. Harbor Freight rarely cuts prices on Daytona equipment this deep. These jacks normally sit at $120, but Black Friday drops them to $84. That's real money in your pocket. But why should you care? Well, if you've ever tried changing a tire with one of those pathetic emergency jacks that come with cars, you know the struggle. It's like trying to lift an elephant with a toothpick. Daytona jacks are built different. They're the kind of solid equipment that makes you feel confident crawling under your vehicle. The safety features alone are worth the upgrade. Multiple locking positions, reinforced construction, and a lifting capacity that won't leave you stranded. Plus, at my age, I appreciate tools that don't require an engineering degree to operate safely. Speaking of smart investments, there's another Black Friday exclusive that'll keep your workspace organized better than your wife's spice rack. Apache tool cases are getting a 30% slice taken off their price tags this Black Friday. Now, before you think it's just a box, let me tell you something. These aren't your granddad's rusty toolbox that required a crowbar and 3 prayers to open. Apache cases are built like they're heading into battle. Makes sense, right? The foam inserts actually stay put, unlike those cheap cases where everything rattles around like dice in a cup. Well, Harbor Freight rarely discounts these beauties, but Black Friday changes the rules. Here's the kicker. A $60 case drops to $42. That's real money saved, not pocket change. But why does this matter? Organization isn't just about looking neat. It's about finding your 10mm socket when you need it, not 3 hours later behind the water heater. The handles won't snap off after 2 trips to the garage either. Trust me, I've learned this lesson the hard way with cheaper alternatives. But speaking of things that won't let you down, there's another Black Friday deal that literally protects your hands while you work. Hardy gloves at 40% off. Now we're talking serious savings on hand protection that actually works. These aren't your typical cheap work gloves that fall apart after a weekend project. Hardy gloves come with something most gloves never offer. A lifetime warranty. That's right, lifetime. Makes you wonder why other companies don't have the confidence to back their products like that. At $19.99, normally, they drop to just $12 during Black Friday. That's like getting premium hand protection for the price of a fast food meal. Well, maybe 2 meals these days with inflation, but you get the point. The real kicker here, this 40% discount only shows up during Black Friday. Try finding this deal in March. Good luck with that. Harbor Freight keeps their Hardy gloves at full price most of the year, which tells you something about their popularity. For anyone who spends time gardening, doing repairs, or handling rough materials, your hands will thank you. The comfort and durability make these gloves worth every penny, even at full price. But here's where things get really interesting with their next deal. The Harbor Freight hat for $5? Your grandpa would call that highway robbery, in reverse. This isn't just any baseball cap you'd find at a gas station. We're talking about a piece of Harbor Freight history that's built tougher than most relationships these days. Here's what makes this deal special. That hat normally sits at $10, which honestly isn't bad for something that'll outlast your favorite pair of work boots. But during Black Friday, they slash it to $5. Makes sense, right? It's like they're practically giving away advertising space on your forehead. The construction is surprisingly solid. None of that flimsy fabric that falls apart after 3 wash cycles. This thing handles sweat, dirt, and whatever else your weekend projects throw at it. Plus, older folks appreciate the classic design. No flashy logos or trendy colors that'll look dated next year. Well, speaking of things that handle pressure better than most people handle Monday mornings, let's talk about something that can literally lift your problems off the ground. Here's your heavy-duty hero, hiding in plain sight at Harbor Freight. The Badland 3-ton off-road jack is getting slashed from $70 down to $35, and that's 50% off, folks. Now, most jacks are about as useful off-road as a chocolate teapot. But this beast, it's built for the rough stuff. Dirt, gravel, uneven ground. Wherever your adventure takes you, this jack follows along without complaint. The 3-ton capacity means it'll handle your truck, SUV, or that neighbor's oversized pickup he's always bragging about. And at half price, you're basically stealing it legally. Well, almost legally anyway. What makes this deal special isn't just the price cut, it's the timing. Harbor Freight rarely discounts their Badland gear this deep outside of Black Friday. The rest of the year, you're paying full freight, pun intended. For anyone who's ever been stuck with a flat tire on a camping trip or hunting expedition, you know the value of reliable equipment. This jack turns a potential disaster into a minor inconvenience. Speaking of minor inconveniences, let's talk about a tool that makes big problems disappear for just $10. $10 for a heat gun? Your grandfather probably paid more than that for a decent wrench back in 1975. But here we are, and the Warrior heat gun is sitting pretty at exactly $10 during Harbor Freight's Black Friday madness. This little powerhouse normally costs $20, so you're saving 50% right off the bat. Not bad for something that'll strip paint faster than a teenager strips their bed sheets. Well, maybe not that fast, but you get the idea. The beauty of this heat gun isn't just the price, though. It's the versatility that'll surprise you. Frozen pipes giving you grief? Heat gun. Old paint making your deck look like a patchwork quilt? Heat gun. Need to shrink wrap something? You guessed it. I've used cheaper heat guns before, and let me tell you, they sound like angry hairdryers having a breakdown. This Warrior model actually works without making you question your life choices. The temperature control is decent, and it won't quit on you after 3 uses. Speaking of tools that won't quit, let's talk about something every car owner needs tucked away somewhere. Here's something most people overlook until their car door panel starts rattling like a paint mixer. The automotive plastic fastener kit. 240 pieces for just $10 on Black Friday. Down from $18, which honestly feels like highway robbery for tiny plastic clips. But here's the thing about car repairs. You know that moment when you're fixing something simple, like replacing a speaker, and suddenly half your dashboard is held together by hope and duct tape. Well, that's where this little kit becomes your best friend. These fasteners are the unsung heroes of automotive work. Door panels, trim pieces, carpet clips, they all depend on these tiny plastic warriors. And when one breaks, good luck finding the exact replacement at your local parts store. They'll look at you like you're asking for unicorn tears. For older folks especially, having this variety pack means no more trips to 3 different stores hunting for one specific clip. Your back will thank you for that convenience. The real beauty? You'll use maybe 20 pieces and still feel like you got a bargain. Speaking of getting more bang for your buck, these 500-pound capacity ratcheting tie downs at $10? That's like finding a $20 bill in your old winter coat. Except better, because this deal actually secures your stuff instead of just sitting there being forgotten. Here's what makes this deal sweet. Most tie downs you find at other stores are about as reliable as a weather forecast. But these Harbor Freight ones, they're built to handle serious weight without snapping like a rubber band. 500 pounds means you can secure a refrigerator, washer, or that giant toolbox you've been eyeing. The ratcheting mechanism is where the magic happens. No more wrestling with those flimsy hook and loop straps that come undone every 5 miles. Just crank it tight and forget about it. Your cargo stays put like it's glued down. And let's be honest, at $15 normally, they're already reasonable. But at $10 for Black Friday, that's what we call a no-brainer purchase. Whether you're hauling furniture, camping gear, or helping your kid move apartments for the third time this year. But those hydraulic kits we're about to discuss, now that's where things get really interesting. 10-ton portable hydraulic equipment kit at Harbor Freight is like having your own personal strongman in a toolbox. Well, if strongmen could fit in toolboxes and didn't eat all your food, this Black Friday, this beast drops from $200 to $150. That's $50 saved on something that can literally move mountains. Or at least move that stubborn transmission out of your neighbor's broken down Buick. What makes this deal special? Most hydraulic kits, this powerful, cost way more at other stores. Harbor Freight's version gives you the same crushing power without crushing your wallet. The kit includes everything you need to lift, press, and move heavy machinery around your garage. But here's the thing older folks really appreciate. It's portable. Remember when hydraulic equipment meant calling 3 buddies and throwing out your back? Those days are gone. This kit wheels around easier than a shopping cart, though it's infinitely more useful than buying another case of prunes. The real kicker is the versatility. One day you're lifting engines, the next you're pressing bearings. It's like a Swiss Army knife that went to the gym for 20 years. Speaking of versatility, let's talk about comfort during those long project sessions. Looking for something that'll save your back during those marathon garage sessions? Well, Harbor Freight's professional adjustable shop seat is getting marked down for Black Friday. And honestly, it's about time. This thing normally runs $50, but they're knocking it down to $35. That's like getting paid $15 to stop crawling around on concrete like some kind of workshop cave person. The seat adjusts up and down, which means you can actually work at eye level instead of doing that awkward crouch that makes you walk like a question mark afterward. Makes sense, right? Plus, it's got wheels, so you can roll from project to project without getting up. Your knees will thank you. But here's the kicker. This deal only shows up during Black Friday. The rest of the year, full price, take it or leave it. The thing's built sturdy too. Not like those flimsy stools that collapse the moment you lean over to grab a wrench. And speaking of grabbing things, wait until you see what's coming next for getting under your car. Working under your car shouldn't feel like you're sliding around on a piece of cardboard from last week's Amazon delivery. But that's exactly what most people do until their back starts screaming louder than a rusty exhaust pipe. The 300-pound capacity low-profile creeper changes everything. This Black Friday, it drops from $40 to $28. That's a $12 savings that'll pay for itself the first time you don't throw out your spine-changing oil. What makes this creeper special? Well, it's built low enough to actually fit under modern cars. You know how today's vehicles sit closer to the ground than a snake's belly? Regular creepers are too thick. This one gets you where you need to be without scraping your knuckles on the pavement. The padded surface beats lying on cold concrete any day. Plus, those 6 rolling casters move smoother than butter on hot toast. Your neighbors will think you've hired a real mechanic when they see you gliding around under there like a professional. But comfort isn't the only thing that matters when you're choosing garage equipment. Moving heavy stuff around your garage used to mean throwing out your back and questioning your life choices. Well, those days are officially over. These 1,500-pound capacity vehicle dollies are currently 30% off for Black Friday. That's dropping them from $60 down to $42. And honestly, it's about time someone made moving cars easier than solving a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. Here's what makes these dollies special. Each one can handle 1,500 pounds without breaking a sweat. That's like moving a small car, which is exactly what they're designed for. The wheels roll smooth as butter, and the build quality is surprisingly solid for Harbor Freight. But here's the kicker. This discount only shows up during Black Friday. The rest of the year, you're paying full price like everyone else. For folks who've been wrestling with dead cars in their driveway, this is a game changer. No more recruiting the entire neighborhood just to push your project car 3 feet to the left. Makes sense, right? Speaking of things that make garage life easier, let's talk about keeping your batteries alive. This battery charger is like having a Swiss Army knife for dead batteries. The 2/10/40/200 amp 6/12-volt automatic battery charger handles everything from motorcycle batteries to big truck batteries. Pretty neat, right? Here's what makes this Black Friday deal special. Most chargers force you to guess the right setting. This one, it's automatic. Just hook it up and walk away. No babysitting required. The regular price sits at $80, but Black Friday drops it to $56. That's a $24 savings for something that'll last decades. Well, assuming you don't drop it off your workbench like I did with my last one. But here's the kicker. This charger can jumpstart a completely dead battery. You know that sinking feeling when your car won't start on a cold morning? This eliminates that drama entirely. The 200 amp setting provides enough juice to wake up even the most stubborn battery. For anyone who's ever been stranded with a dead battery, this deal makes perfect sense. The automatic feature means no more guessing games or fried electronics. Speaking of Black Friday bonuses, there's one more deal that sweetens every purchase. Here's the thing about Harbor Freight's free item deals. They're like finding money in your old coat pocket. Spend $35 and boom, they toss in something for nothing. Well, almost nothing. These aren't your usual cheap throwaway items either. We're talking decent tools and accessories worth $10 to $20. That's like getting a coffee and donut every day for 2 weeks. Makes sense, right? The catch? You've got to hit that $35 minimum. But honestly, walking into Harbor Freight and spending less than $35 is like going to a buffet and ordering a salad. It's technically possible. But why would you torture yourself? Smart shoppers stack these deals. Buy that Warrior heat gun for $10. Grab some tie downs for another $10. Throw in a fastener kit. And suddenly you're qualified for free stuff. It's like grocery store math, but with tools. Here's what makes this brilliant. Harbor Freight only does this during Black Friday. The rest of the year, you pay full price for everything. But right now, they're practically begging you to take extra tools home. That's maximizing your tool budget the right way.